Welcome, everyone. The markets seem green this Friday morning at 8:54 a.m. For the first time ever, I feel I've gotten real dividends. $12,000 worth for the month of April. It was truly amazing. I experienced no NAV erosion, nothing. No volatility of the price swings going back and forth. I call it capture the flag. A simple game. It's dividend capture, but a strategy that works. You find an underlier, the stock, that has incredible momentum. You swoop in the day the premium is announced. You capture the dividend. Now, there are dividend capture strategies for clowns where you sell it the next day. What they don't realize is they don't know about going ex-dividend. You see, before we had these weekly and monthly payers, NAV erosion didn't exist. It didn't, okay? When we had regular dividends from stocks, they were paid out quarterly, and then it would come from the price of the stock, okay? The price of the stock would drop by the dividend amount. In a way, it's so you can't dividend capture, so you can't cheat the system. What would happen is, over the rest of that quarter, the stock would hopefully go up, and then you would recover the dividend. Now with monthly, especially with individual single stocks, you need to recover that dividend by the end of the month. If you get into a holding pattern where it doesn't recover the dividend and they pay you another dividend, the price drops again. They pay you another dividend, the price drops again. You're not recovering the dividend, you are doomed. Your capital will deplete. Now you may think, okay, but I own the shares. I'm going to still get all of those dividends. As the capital depletes and it gets lower, the dividend, even though it's the same percentage, gets lower. Think about this. If you're getting a 50% yield, let's say you're getting $1 on a 20, let's say you're getting a 50% yield on a $20 stock or ETF. It's a lot different than a 50% yield on a $2 ETF. So keep that in mind. So after over a year of specifically focusing on this high yield area, and I've created 2 YouTube channels around it. My background is crypto. I've done that for 8 years, and my main channels are about that, but I got into this because I thought it was interesting. I thought in the beginning it was easy money. I was like, hey, like in those crypto things I was in the past, you put in your money, they do the trading for you or whatever, even if it was fake, didn't matter. They paid you on top of what you invested. But here, they pay you, and the stock has to catch up. So number one ingredient in Oracle's capture the flag is momentum. If you look at the stock and it's been capturing or recovering from the dividend, meaning it's $20, they pay you out $2, it drops to 18 ex-dividend date, and then 2 weeks later, it's back to $20. Great. That's what you're looking for. That's the momentum player. Every one of these caught momentum this month. Let me explain. Plady, the Palantir, was my biggest pair. I seen the yield, and the premium was going to be $4.86. I immediately bought because I knew that Palantir had momentum. It had earnings coming up. Okay? Let's take a look here. Yeah. And it has earnings coming up on Monday. So I was able to get in. Same thing with PLTW, the weekly one. I was able to get in, capture the dividend, or get more. And I did it even with Roundhill, XDTE. I bought in at 41 at a $1,300 capital gain. I got the dividend, recovered the dividend, and got out. And I thought 41 was a high price because I could get it for 39 or 38. So I took advantage of this opportunity. So these are clean dividends. They recovered. These are capture the flag dividends. Your portfolio will only grow, and you'll never have to reinvest if you use this strategy. Yeah. Now, every day, let me pull up a fund for you. Here's a crappy fund called Clip. Okay? Clip was so bad. Okay? Here, I filled out. Get the next update. Here, this is who it's going to go to. There's my name. Fucko. Oracle. At eatme@aol.com. China Research. Yeah. Let's move on. So let's go back, take a look at this. So they did a reverse split, okay? 3-for-1. That's not bad. What does that mean? That means if this was a famous Khmer fund, okay? Big in Cambodia. Pol Pot loved this one, right? Clip. It almost sounds like clit with a P on the end. Clip. Like they clipped off the clit. They do that in Africa. It's crazy. So women don't cheat on their husbands. I swear it's a true story. Seen the promised land, and I can tell you it's true. So if you had 3,000 shares, now you have 1,000, okay? Sounds great, right? It's just trading some for some others, right? Like, you know, if you have a $10 bill and we give you some singles or some shit like that, right? Here's what happens. The fund had to reverse split because it would have went to zero, okay? So nobody wants to go to zero. So what they do is do a reverse split. That's okay. But if the fund continues to just be a total bag of shit, what we call a Pol Pot, you're just going to lose your money all over again. Look, just a total bag of Pol Pot. Can you smell the Cambodian rot? Can you smell it? It's disgusting. Oh, so they did a reverse split. Can't even see it here, but their performance remains to be the same. So nothing changed, and you just lost. Well, you have a third of the shares you had before. Are you getting more income per share? No, not really. It just is a sucky fund. So you want clean dividends. You want to capture the flag. I've captured the flag on all of these. Now, let me show you. Go back to April 16th, about 2 weeks ago. Oh, I took a beating, okay? My portfolio was down to 164,000, okay? Beating. Now, let's see where we are. Let me show you where I am. In 2 weeks, I'm back to 207. Strategic maneuvers, real dividends. I did sell some covered calls. Biggest pain in the ass in the world. Even the 11-day simple covered calls. This is so much easier. Look, everything has its inherent risk. You might say, what if I get into a momentum player and then the momentum stops? It's like musical chairs. You don't get a chair. Well, if the momentum stops and you're in a position where it's going down and the dividends are getting smaller and you're not recovering, it's time to leave. You can't just reinvest your way to happiness, okay? I did this in 2 weeks by being an active investor. You could be passive all you want, pacifist bitches, okay? I have no margin today, okay? As a matter of fact, Apple missed earnings yesterday. Look, so I'm going to make $832. That's more than the schmuck on dividends. You know, Mark, the one with his testicles cut off by his wife. True story, another true story. It's not as bad as Pol Pot, but yeah, she had this done to him. So let's go ahead and unload this, $832. So we're going to make right away $832. Sell to close. Let's see, time of force. I'm going to do this one and just get out of it, right? Poof, filled, gone. Took the money. Why did I short Apple yesterday? The last minute, 10 minutes before the bell. You know what their big innovation was? A Siri that's going to talk dirty to you. Yep, you take it in your bed, you rub one out, and it'll talk to you like, yeah, it's crazy. They also improved their camera, and they tried to tell some stories, nothing worked. That's it, Apple. Amazon, same thing, okay? But people will buy the dip because this is institutional. They think it's a deal. I'm not buying a dip. We're in the middle of a tsunami here, okay? We don't know what the tariffs, what's going to happen. So my strategy here is, think about it. Every day that you're in one of these funds, okay, it could get hit by a catastrophic drop. Anything could happen, okay? Anything could happen anytime that you're in one of these funds. Now, I don't really follow this one. I was never in this one. But if you have a big market downturn, a covered call fund takes all the downside, but is capped on the upside. So imagine, let's take a stock like Palantir. Okay, let's pull that up. All right, so Palantir, and let's pull up Platy. I like Platy. I'm going to go back to it next month, okay, as long as it still has momentum, okay? But I sold out of all of it. Okay, look, it's been doing great. Recovery, this is a momentum player. Okay, so the people who buy, okay, ex-dividend are schmucks. You know why? They are forced to hold it the entire month no matter what happens to get the reward. Even if the market drops and then they're capped and the stock goes way up, right? But they're capped and they don't get all of that upside. So you don't want to be in that. So my strategy of finding a momentum runner and running it into earnings, collecting the dividends, and then getting out once you recover is phenomenal. I'm doing it now with a sleeper. You ready? Hold on. We're doing it now with Netflix. Okay. I'm going to get about a $5,000 dividend. The day that they announced the dividend, like 90 cents, I bought 5,000 shares. Okay? Now, my P&L needs to come back to flat. Right now, it's still ex-dividend. That's okay. It's a good underlier, right? This is by Yield Max. So once I get my $5,000, I get out. I completely de-risk, whether it takes a week or even if it takes almost the entire month. I get out and then I reassess when the premiums are announced again. It's a really good strategy. This is how you really grow your account. I know a lot of you don't like to go in and out and you don't like to, press a few buttons. You call it trading. I call it pressing a button. You gotta be a moron not to do this, really. I paused you as I sipped my black and bitter like my bitches, as I sip my black coffee, okay, because no one wants to hear you schmucks on YouTube slurp or suck down water bottles. It sounds like half of you are sucking off wild animals, all right? So, what's the move here? The move is going to be to capture the dividend, capture the flag, all right? So now, here's where I sit. Today's P&L is already up $2,300. What I did another double reverse somersault backflip. I've been talking about this capture the flag a lot, okay? But I did a double backflip. It's going to be epic. So here's what I did. I started selling, okay? I took profits from PLTY. I flipped them into PLTR. And then I gave you the exact strategy. Oh, I'm on the wrong channel. Oracle High Yield. I was wondering why I seen Leo LaBamba there. Okay, here we go. The yield burglar. This is my new thing. Last night was the earnings pirate. I played music in that. Oh, it got demonetized and everything. The problem with being demonetized is they don't show anybody. Look, Palantir exit strategy, sneaking out the back door. So all of last week, when we were up to 120, okay, I had 3,000 shares on margin. Selling them. Nice, right? 500 a day. Unloading on these people. Reducing my risk, my exposure for when earnings come. The pain of missing earnings is greater than the joy of hitting. Now, I don't want to be totally out, so what am I holding? Right now, only 500 shares of Palantir, which are still up $4,000. This was from 3,000 shares. That was from PLTY originally. Recovered the dividend, flipped into this. That's how you do it. This is the channel, Strategies Over Spreadsheets. This is what we are about here. I'll never pull out a spreadsheet. I'll never do a fund review. I will tell you what I'm doing, and hopefully you'll learn from it, and all I want from you is a comment below the video. If you found it helpful, useful. Some people find me harsh. They don't understand. They say he moves so much. You got to build a portfolio. You got to take risks, okay? I told you, okay? I built this monster back, okay, from here 2 weeks ago, okay? I have no margin, and I'm coming back. I made, 50 grand? Close to it? So I'm only $43,000 away from breaking even. Yeah, I'll tell you. I told everybody I lost 100 grand on SMST, okay? Because of whatever happened. Markets turned around, blew up, presidential announcements. Hey, shit happens, okay? So now I wait for earnings with Palantir. Netflix, as soon as it recovers, and I know simply, once that goes to my P&L is positive, I sell. I already got the dividend. Well, I'll be getting the dividend. Sometimes Webull forgets. They got to call you on Monday. You got to remind them. Sometimes you get it Friday. It's whenever. It's all right. It's cool. That's everything. That's really, I have nothing else to say. Let me check in with my AI. Ooh, the news is getting juicy. Michael Saylor tries to justify MicroStrategy premium to Bitcoin holders. That guy's just so full of shit. I'm surprised his teeth are so white, okay? And they're not really. but that will hit the fan. Tempest AI, they got earnings coming up soon. They are the Palantir of medicine. I would look at them. And then strategy, everybody wants to piss on strategy. So do I. But you got to say one thing. Tell me in the comments. You know Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF? Doesn't he look like his crazy uncle? He's got the same stupid hair. Yeah. So, this is where we are. Dividend, capture the flag strategy. And it works really well. So the whole key here is the less time that you are in these funds, the less risk you have. Think about it. Why take all of that NAV erosion? Why take all of that risk? Let's take a look at Enfly. I don't even know what the hell they call it anymore. Netflix. All right. So, in the last 5 days, here, we just got the dividend. Boom! Right there. Okay? Now, we have to recover that dividend. It was a juicy one, too. It was $1. Okay? Have we recovered in the past? Yes. Before that, looks like they kind of have been, right? Look. So if we look at all-time maximum, this thing is down, okay, unlike the others, only $1.39, but we're not going to be in it that long. Year to date, okay, and, you know, what are we in? The 5th month, almost half the year. Year to date, the thing is up. It's up. Nobody sees this. I don't care what you do, okay? But this is why I'm in it, for the dividend capture strategy, okay? Excellent runner here. It seems to handle it better than, for example, Tesla handles Tesla. So, you know what the next thing that's going to happen to Netflix? I'll tell you the future. They're going to reverse split or forward split. They're going to give you 10, or however they call it, I don't know, 10 for 1. They're going to bring it down to $113, $120, just like they all do. People will forget this old price and overvaluation, and they'll get all excited again. Poor people, poor person's paradox, will start buying 100 shares at a time so they could sell calls on it, which is a total dickbag game. All right? I'll tell you, I tried it. If you don't know how to roll, if you don't know how to get out of them, if you don't know all the intricacies, selling calls sucks. I'll tell you straight up, selling calls sucks. Capturing the flag, epic. Have a nice day. Capture a flag, bitches.